Have you ever felt totally, completely powerless against a faceless HOA management company? You know the exact feeling we're talking about, right? They send you these vague violation letters, they slap you with fines, they ghost your emails, and they just seemingly run your entire neighborhood with an iron fist. It is an incredibly common, incredibly maddening frustration. Well, today, we are breaking down the absolute legal reality of who is actually in charge of your community. And spoiler alert, it might not be who you think.
So ask yourself right now, who actually holds the power in your neighborhood? Because most homeowners naturally assume the management company runs the show. And why wouldn't you? After all, they're the ones picking up the phones, they're the ones sending out the notices. But we are going to shatter that misconception right here, right now. The management company is absolutely not the ultimate authority, not even close.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The True Power Triangle. Unpacking the legal hierarchy.
To truly understand why so much dysfunction and sheer frustration happens in these communities, we first have to map out the legal reality of what we call the HOA power triangle. See, there's a distinct legal chain of command here, and confusing it is exactly how homeowners end up surrendering their rights. At the very top of our triangle is the association. Now, legally speaking, the association is a body made up of all the homeowners in the community. You heard that right. The homeowners themselves are the actual association. You, as an owner, are the membership. You provide the ultimate source of funding through your assessments, and legally, the entire community exists for you.
Next down, we have the Board of Directors. This is just a small group of elected volunteer homeowners. Think of the board as the true executive branch of your neighborhood. They are legally bound by a strict fiduciary duty to make decisions that are in the best interest of the association. Meaning they, and they alone, hold the final decision-making power.
And finally, down at the bottom of the triangle, we have the management company. This is a third-party, for-profit business hired simply as a vendor to handle day-to-day administration. They are literally just the paid operations team. Their job? Answer the phones, coordinate repairs with the landscapers, collect the dues, and sure, send you those pesky violation letters for leaving your trash cans out. But they do not make policy. They are the hired help. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark legal boundaries we're dealing with. On one hand, you have the HOA board as the executive branch. They set the vision, they approve the massive budgets, they make the final tough decisions, and they carry that heavy legal fiduciary duty. On the other hand, the management company is just the operations team. They execute the board's decisions, they coordinate the vendors, they collect the checks, and they mail the letters. The board decides what needs to happen, the management company just makes it happen.
Section 2. When helpers become controllers, the danger of the overreaching gatekeeper.
But here's the million-dollar question. What happens when those distinct legal lines start to blur? This brings us to the absolute core problem we're exploring in this explainer, the operational chaos that erupts when a management company steps way out of its lane. A for-profit management company starts acting as a gatekeeper between you, the owners, and the board. You might suddenly see them withholding or just infinitely delaying access to community financial records. They purposefully confuse responsibility to shield a dysfunctional board from accountability. Or even worse, they start making unauthorized spending or policy decisions entirely on their own. This is exactly how a middleman hijacks homeowners' rights, simply by controlling access and information.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a really insidious cycle of legal protection. It usually goes like this. Step 1. A management company refers a specific law firm to the HOA board. Step 2. The board hires that firm using your homeowner money. Step 3. When the management company inevitably drops the ball or overreaches, that law firm totally turns a blind eye. Because why wouldn't they? They need to protect their lucrative referral source. Which brings us to Step 4. The frustrated homeowner is left fighting entirely alone against an impenetrable wall of lawyers and vendors who are just protecting each other.
Have you ever... Case study, Countryside at Cumberland, Cobb County Superior Court Case Number 25CV06808. Let's ground all this legal theory in a very real-world example. There's a specific legal battle playing out in Cobb County Superior Court right now. Let's trace the timeline of the management company in this community, Sharper Image Management Consultants. Countryside was built back in 1984, featuring 212 units. Fast forward to June of 1998, Sharper Image is retained to handle basic bookkeeping and maintenance coordination. Jump to 2020, and the homeowner manual gets updated to explicitly limit management's authority. And yet, present day, we are looking at an ongoing legal conflict over access to records and who really holds the authority. It just goes to show, when a management company is retained for decades, they can become deeply, deeply embedded, drastically increasing the risk of them acting as an unchecked gatekeeper.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the community's own governing documents directly contradict the reality on the ground. The 2020 Countryside Homeowners Manual explicitly states, and I quote, "The management company does not have authority to make spending decisions for association projects because that is the board's responsibility." Bam! It is right there in black and white. The power legally remains with the board.
But man, there is a massive contradiction between the idealized rules in that manual and the gritty, everyday reality. Homeowners at Countryside were explicitly instructed to contact Sharper Image for their records and financials, but when they actually tried to do it, they later faced lawyers claiming their requests were burdensome, severely limited, and potentially even subject to attorney fee assessments. The hired helpers essentially morphed into the controllers, aggressively blocking the very homeowners who fund the community from viewing their own financials.
Section 4. Reclaiming your homeowner authority, holding the right people accountable.
So how do you actually fight back? Let's shift our focus to empowering you right now. Because here is the ultimate legal misstep so many frustrated homeowners make when they finally try to push back. Suing the property management company instead of the HOA association. Now look, it's completely understandable why you'd want to go after the management company. They're the ones ignoring your emails, failing to fix the pool, sending you the fines. But legally speaking, you, the homeowner, do not have a direct contract with the management company.
Let's break down the actual chain of command here. Step 1. The management company drops the ball or totally overreaches. Step 2. Because the management company is technically merely an agent, that misconduct is legally imputed, meaning the liability is passed directly back up to the association, specifically the board. Step 3. The owner must hold the association accountable for failing to supervise their vendor. Your contract, through your governing documents, is with the HOA. That means your ultimate legal fight is literally always with the association itself.
So the crucial point is taking actionable steps to pierce right through the management company's smoke and mirrors. First things first, read your governing documents, your bylaws, and your CC&Rs. Second, learn the legal hierarchy of your state, like the Georgia Condominium Act. Third, demand to know who specifically authorized these actions. Was it actually the board, or was management just acting entirely on their own? And finally, always follow the money and follow the contractual authority.
This brings us to a huge core takeaway that you really need to remember. Do not just accept it when you hear, well, the HOA said so. You have got to stop treating the management company and the board as if they're the exact same entity. They're not. Start asking the tough questions. Who actually had the authority to do this? Where exactly is it written? Was the board truly involved, or is the management company just running rogue?
I want to end this explainer with a final provocative thought to leave you with. When roles blur, when you're getting the endless runaround, and when you are actively blocked from your own community's information, ask yourself, who actually benefited from the confusion? Was it you, the homeowners, or was it the vendors and the lawyers? Remember, the management company is a paid vendor, and the board answers to you. Knowledge is absolute power. Use it. Read your governing documents, understand this legal hierarchy, and start holding the real decision makers accountable.